This is Chicago Pops, welcoming you back to our Hunter Guides. And we're here with Lurleen. She's about to pick up her pet training quest, which is the focus of this guide. Now, if you've moved on to another zone, you need to go back to your race's starting zone. And usually this will be located in the second quest hub. Regardless of what race you're playing, the Pet Training Quest is a series of 3 quests that are very easy. The only difficult part is the amount of time that they take to walk from one target to the other. For the Blood Elves, I've marked a path here. The first 2 targets are almost always very close to where the quest giver is, and the final one is usually a distant one. On your way there, you might want to stop and make your Hearthstone to Silver Moon City. For other races, I would suggest setting your Hearthstone to the location of the quest giver. That's not an option here for the Blood Elves. Okay, for the Blood Elves, we've been given the mission to train a crazed dragonhawk, and our quest giver has given us a taming rod in which to do it. Now you'll notice in the right hand side I have my quest tracked, and the item I'm going to need to use has a little mini icon over there, and we can just touch that to begin the process. It's very important that you tame the creature that you've been asked to exactly. If it says crazed dragonhawk, any other type of dragonhawk will not do. It must be a crazed dragonhawk. This is a good chance for you to utilize your tracking. Turn your tracking to beast tracking, and when you highlight over the little yellow dots or red dots, it will tell you the exact name of the item that or the creature that's being tracked. Okay, once you've trained your crazed dragonhawk, you're going to return back to your quest giver, and she's going to thank you, give you some experience, and send you on your way to the next part. Okay, the second leg of the quest has asked us to tame an Elder Springpaw. Again, it must be an Elder Springpaw and not any other type. I'm speeding up the action a little bit here. I'm going to make a mistake here, and I did it on purpose. I did not dismiss the first pet that I had, and if you try and tame the second pet, it is not going to work because it'll say you've already had one summon. So to dismiss that pet, all you need to do is right-click that pet's portrait and drag down to dismiss. We're going to train the Elder Springpaw here, and one thing to note, you're going to be taking a lot of damage while you're training this pet. It takes about 10 seconds to complete the process, and during that time you are completely defenseless. So you want to make sure there are no other hostile enemies around while you're doing this. Otherwise you're going to be taking a massive amount of damage unnecessarily, and you might even die while you're doing this because you can't fight the creature that you're trying to tame. Our quest giver has given us our third target, which is a mist-veiled bat, and that's located in the Ghostlands, far away from where we're at now. On our way there, we are going to find a few quest givers. We're going to go ahead and turn in any quests that we have on our way there and pick up any quests that they might have, but we're not going to concentrate on them because we're focusing on completing this pet training series of quests. I'm also not killing any extra targets that I don't need to while I'm doing this. Even though your trained pet will attack for you and help defend you, I don't recommend using it. Just focus on getting each of the individual targets that you need to tamed. We dismissed our cat. Now we're going to start the same process with the mistbat. And again, make sure there are no other hostile enemies nearby, because you don't want to be fighting 2, 3, or 4 while you're doing this. You just want to be focusing on that one target. Okay, once you have tamed your final beast, you are ready to finish your pet training series of quests. Now might be a good time to do Hearthstone, and that's exactly what I do here. I actually wish I had picked up the nearby flight path and just flown back to Silver Moon City, but it has been a while since I played the Blood Elves, so please forgive me for making that little mistake. I'm going to make a quick run back to our to turn in our quest and get our training completed. Once we turn in these pet training quests, the final pet training quest, excuse me, we are going to be given the ability to train pets as well as dismiss our pet and a few other abilities, which I'll talk about in a little bit more detail. The quest giver is going to give us a final quest, which will give us a few more pet abilities, and that's going to come from the hunter trainer in the capital. So we're going to go ahead and train our first pet that's completely our own and will be our own as long as we like to keep them. I've chosen a Dragonok here. You want to go to the extreme end of your range and then click on your pet training ability. And just like we did with our quest, you're going to take a lot of damage while you're doing this process, which takes about 10 seconds. There's really nothing you can do at this level. Later on, you'll be able to add, you could have used concussive shot, but I find that doesn't really help much. But even more importantly, at a later date, you'll be able to use a freezing trap, which will help a lot. Now, when you open up your pet details pane, you'll find information regarding their diet, as well as their various stats, and you'll have a chance to rename your pet. I originally tried to name my pet Arkansas after my home state, but unfortunately that name is reserved. I did not know that. So I gave the next best possibility, which was Razorback. Make sure that your pet's name does not violate Blizzard's terms of service, because it will get you banned, or they may force you to change the name of the pet. So we're going to quickly brush by and try out our pet. First, I'm going to open my macro page, and I've already had a couple macros made. One is a simple pet attack, which will send your pet directly to attack your target. And the second one is a combination macro, which is a pet attack plus hunter's mark. Macros are a good way of combining a lot of abilities together into one key. And as I said before, hunters have their action bars very full, so the more you can combine, the better. And I like to have hunter's mark on all my targets that my pet has. Now, I'm highlighting over there all our pet abilities and statuses there, and I'm going to go into more detail with pets in a later guide. But we're just going to play around with our pet here, and we started by sending off to attack a target that we had marked, and I also began firing at it. Now, initially, the target, that little cat there, came towards me. But as soon as my pet got to it, it did something called growl, which is caused an immense amount of threat. And the target changed targets to my pet and began attacking my pet. And this is pretty much what hunters do. We send our pets in to attack a target, and the pet tanks for us. This allows us to fire constantly arrows and other shots to kill the target very fast. You'll find that once you have a pet, you're not going to see a lot of melee action anymore. And this is a great boon to any hunter, because most of our damage comes from at range. We do have very weak melee abilities. Now, our pet trainer here is going to give us another ability. It's called Feed Pet. And when you feed your pet, it's going to make it happier, and the happier it is, the more damage it's going to cause. So you always want to keep your pet fed. Well, now you're level 10, you have a pet, and your life as a hunter will change drastically. At the end of the day, this whole process took about 2.5 hours to get to where I'm at right now, and I ended up earning 150 gold from all the mineral and leather that I collected, as well as a number of small eggs, which for horde players, I can tell you, are very useful for earning money. And I'm at a good point to continue on my journeys. Well, thank you again for joining us with these guides, and more to come.